Hi, this is Mike Gospe, author of The Marketing High Ground, and this is a short video on positioning statements. 3 exercises drive successful integrated marketing campaigns. Step 1 is to clearly identify the persona. Personas answer the who question. Knowing and being able to empathize with people who live and breathe in the target market makes a big difference in the marketer's ability to connect with them. Step 2 is to articulate what you offer and why your solution is unique, different, and better than alternatives. This is the positioning statement. Positioning statements can only be created if we understand the persona first. Step 3 is to create compelling, customer-ready messaging. The messaging must tell a story that engages prospects and customers. The focus of this video is on Step 2, the positioning statement. But the term positioning statement is a confusing one. So before we define what it is, let's be clear on what it is not. When asked to describe their positioning statement, it's not uncommon for a marketing communications manager to boldly recite their slogan or tagline, or have a director of product marketing regale their company's history. Sometimes marketers believe their data sheet is the positioning statement, and most often it's not a statement at all. Instead, the positioning thought is buried deep within a lengthy marketing plan, putting the burden on the copywriter to sort it out. And we all know how well that works. The trouble is that when there is no central, clearly articulated strategy that everyone can rally behind, marketers end up working harder than they have to. When there is not a positioning statement acting as a guide, marketers end up producing disjointed marketing campaigns. Messages are confusing or inconsistent. And teams become frustrated because collateral that should be easy to write ends up requiring many rewrites. The team can't agree on what they're trying to say, and so they take our best shot and hope the prospect can read between the lines to figure out what's most important. There is a better way. The positioning statement helps the internal marketing team focus on what's most important. So by definition, a positioning statement is a tool used by marketers to gain internal agreement and clarity around the specific value being offered to a specific target audience segment or persona. The purpose of the positioning statement is to align marketers, product managers, and sales reps so they become a more effective, integrated team with a shared view of the market. Failure to be aligned will yield a muddled interpretation of the marketing strategy and a set of messages that are irrelevant, off-target, and confusing to prospects and customers. However, while our messaging will be based on the positioning statement, the positioning statement is not the verbatim message to the customer. It is not the headline of the press release. Preparing customer-ready messaging is covered in a separate exercise called the message box, which I will cover in a separate video. Positioning statements come in all formats and lengths. This version is based on the positioning theory offered by Jack Trout and Al Ries in their book Positioning: The Battle for Your Mind. The positioning statement template has all of the appearances of being a simple fill-in-the-blanks formula. But don't be deceived. It requires careful thought to develop a unique statement that is focused, relevant, meaningful, and differentiating. It specifies the target audience or persona. It includes the product name and the category that defines the product. You might think of the category like this. If your product was sold at Fry's Electronics or Walmart or some other store, what department or aisle would customers look to find your product? The benefit addresses the specific value these personas care most about. And the differentiator summarizes the reasons why the persona should value your product above the nearest competitive alternative. This example comes from an entrepreneur who developed a cure for jet lag. Prior to engaging the positioning statement, the team conducted a persona exercise to develop a target persona. The persona template and exercise is not included here, except to note the frequent flyer business executive as the globetrotter persona. Fly Right is the name of his product. The category is a jet lag remedy. The team debated a number of terms and phrases that spanned herbal supplements to power drinks, and finally decided on the specific words that the target audience would most likely understand. The customer problem is jet lag, so jet lag remedy became the best category. The benefit ties directly to the specific problem the target audience has and is often captured in their own words via the persona exercise. The entrepreneur struggled with the benefit line for some time. The first iteration of the benefit line included words likely found in a health magazine, but that's not how the globetrotter defined their problem. The second version included jargon meaningful to the entrepreneur, but meaningless to the globetrotter. Rather than overcomplicating matters, the entrepreneur returned to the persona template and pulled specific words the globetrotter used to describe his problem and the solution criteria he cared most about. In this case, the benefit is stated as allows you to stay healthy through the flight and arrive at your destination feeling as invigorated as when you left, so you can get right to work. The final line, the differentiator, compares Fly Right with the nearest alternative. While there are other medicinal remedies on the market to combat jet lag, but as far as the globetrotter persona was concerned, the most likely alternative were common products like sleeping pills and caffeinated drinks. So that became the focus. Once the positioning statement was created and confirmed by testing it with a few customers, the entrepreneur adopted it. The website, press release, direct mail piece, Google AdWords, and other marketing elements were executed to reflect this central theme illustrated in the positioning statement. But keep in mind the positioning statement is an internal tool used to define a marketing strategy. It is not the message to the customer. Deciphering the positioning statement exercise can be intimidating at first, so don't try to do it yourself. Form a cross-functional team of people who have knowledge about the market. Use questions to spark a discussion. The answers will help you complete the template. Start by asking questions like, why did we build this? What's the persona's perception of us? How have they coped without our product or service? What does the competition offer? How are they perceived? What do we believe are the competition's weaknesses? What are their strengths? What do we really bring to the table? And what are our first, bests, and onlys? Were we first to market? What do we do better than the competitive alternatives? And what is truly unique about our product or service? Does having a positioning statement really matter? Absolutely. Here's a real example. Laura was a PR manager at a high-tech company. She was frustrated because it took on average 9 iterations to get a single press release approved. She was constantly at odds with the product marketing team because they kept changing the emphasis. Decisions on direction were made by he who yelled the loudest, rather than a team that had a shared understanding of the product strategy. Laura suggested the cross-functional product launch team use the positioning statement exercise to help smooth the process. To her surprise and delight, others in the organization were waiting for someone to guide a structured conversation, as opposed to the agenda-less, free-form meetings of the past. With a positioning statement created and confirmed, the marketing team was able to get to market faster than before. As an example, future press releases required only 3 iterations with minimal rewrites instead of the usual 9. The team was now aligned, and that made everyone happier. Marketing became fun again because the marketing direction was now clear and documented. Internal frustration was immediately eased, and it became much easier to make marketing recommendations and decisions. With clearer product direction, it became easier to generate leads and improve conversion rates. Direct mail pieces were created in 30% less time. News coverage doubled because it was easier to write newsworthy press releases. And lead generation campaigns produced 4 times as many qualified leads because the resulting messages were relevant, meaningful, and carefully targeted to the right persona. If you're interested in more information on the positioning statement exercise, please check out these books, The Marketing High Ground and the Marketing High Ground series, Positioning Statements, a guidebook on how to build, critique, and defend a positioning statement. These action-oriented books include examples, techniques, and templates which are described in detail. I also show how you can navigate internal politics to drive your success quickly. This presentation brought to you by Kickstart Alliance.